Live.
Let's we pull it up on the computer. If it shows up, which it does not yet. So I wonder how long it takes for that to actually show up.
Oh, mine. All right. Looks like mine is showing up.
Oh yeah, mine just did too. Okay.
There we go.
All right, now we are tracking. All right, let's see.
There's such a
Let's
delay between the phone and the computer.
Yeah, there will be. There will
Wow.
be.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't look at the computer, look at the phone.
That's trippy. Okay.
All right, let's see. Let me go into your questions. Number one, I want to thank you for hopping on here with me for this live. It's something that I started to do. Really, it was Matt from at Electric All Wheel that got me into doing these lives, and I figured, you know what, this is a really good way for me to kind of hang out with people that I've met. Because you and I, we go back and forth a lot, and I don't know if people realize that because of like the field that we're in, there is a group of us that like we talk to each other, and so we'll talk about brands and we'll talk about um, certain bikes, like what issues have you had with them and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if people think that like everybody's in competition. I feel like with the group of guys that I hang out with, like we're not in competition. We're just here to support each other.
Yeah, it's not like that cutthroat. And at the same time, I'm like personally for my personality, I love collaborating more so than competing, and I think that you can probably get more through collaboration than through cutthroat competition, at least from my perspective, from what we're doing. So for example, this right here, like we can get a lot of this. A lot of people can learn about what we do and why and stuff about e-bikes versus just being viewing each other as competitors. Plus, it's more fun just to be friends. So
Yeah, I think so. And if you guys are wondering, I met Alex at the electric event in Phoenix, Arizona. I can't remember how long ago that was, though.
like a year and a half ago, it's a
Was
while
it?
ago, right? Yeah,
Okay. And
it was October 2024, and it was
okay.
still some. I can't believe I'm about to say this. It was 110 degrees. I don't know if you remember, 110 degrees outside in October in Arizona.
Yeah,
That was crazy.
yeah, I remember. And there were about 40 different YouTube accounts or channels, not accounts, that were there at that event, which was, I thought was crazy because until that event, I had never been to anything like that, to where there was that many, different YouTubers there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome. I really appreciate Electric for bringing us out there. That was, not just to help them out from a marketing perspective, but just to get us together so we can network. And that was, like you said, that was something I've never done before, and it was awesome. It was such a cool time.
It was. I 100% agree. Road trip buddy, what's up, fellas? Hey, thanks for joining. Also, Kishu. All right. Thanks for
What's up, guys?
thanks for hopping on. If people do have questions, you can add it in the chat. There was a question that was asked on the post, so let's get that knocked out. Oh, I gotta go find it now. Holy cow! Hang on. Um, but I'll ask you this one first while I'm looking that up. Alex, how did you become an e-bike reviewer? Like, how did that process happen?
So I started, I started just bicycling again. I used to bicycle everywhere when I was like 12 in middle school. Didn't bike after that, and then I picked it up again as a hobby. And I realized I love regular, cycling, bicycling, not like crazy, spandex suit cycling, just casual stuff for fun with friends. But as soon as you encounter a hill, all of a sudden I didn't like it. Because it's like, who put this hill here? Now I have to suffer. So now I'm thinking, how can I get the most enjoyment out of bicycling? I thought, well, maybe I'll get an e-bike that'll at least help me with hills. So at first I bought a super weak e-bike from Walmart. I'm like, let's get something cheap, low power, just for hills for assist. And it didn't work out. It was just it was just garbage. So I returned it and got an aerial rider Kepler. I've been eyeing that bike for a while, and I started making videos on it and just posting in their Facebook group about the bike, just because it's fun. It was a hobby of mine. I really enjoyed it. And at one point, I don't know if Facebook is still like this, but I tried to make a range test video and post it on the Facebook group, and it didn't let me. It said there's like a 10-minute limit. I'm like, all right, let's just make some kind of YouTube channel. I brainstormed names maybe for like 5 minutes. I probably should have done longer than that. So I made maximum charge YouTube channel. I threw it up there, and I started posting videos there and posting them on the Facebook group. And I did that more and more. And then I bought a broken used wired bike. Now back then it was known as Wicked, from the Bronx, somewhere in New York. It was broken. I had to go in and repair the motor, so I started making videos on that. And then I was like 600 subscribers in. I didn't even check my email on that account, but I was like, you know what? Let's just check my email. Maybe there's something in there. And I see there's an email from Angway. They're like, hey, do you want to review this bike? And like, hell yeah, I want to review this bike. Back then, you're just thinking, oh, free shit? Hell yeah, like send it to me, right? So I got that. I did a review on that to the best of my abilities, and then from there, the rest is history. So it
Yeah,
was
no,
almost by accident.
yeah. You know what? Because I've talked to others about how their channel starts, and it basically all seems that it starts the same way. And the same thing with me, right? You buy an e-bike, you just start doing videos on it, and then companies start to reach out to you and say, "Hey, can you?" I don't even think they said even make a review. They were like, "Can you do some videos with our bike?" Because
Yeah,
back then, I didn't know how to do a review. You know, like I don't know
yeah.
what I was doing or what I think they wanted to see.
Yeah, you just I mean, whenever you start anything new, you're gonna do it badly. At least, in hindsight, you look at your first videos and you're like, wow, that's god awful. But you kind of get ideas from other reviewers, and you see like, okay, people probably want to know the components. People probably want to know some like how it rides, and then from there, you'd be surprised. Company, I don't know for whoever's watching, companies, they don't even care all that much about your quality of the video. Like you can film just a basic ride, not even go over the specs, and they'll be happy with it. I don't know. So sometimes we go above and beyond.
I feel like, yeah, my reviews are a monster at this point.
Well,
So
Scott, I told you this in private, and I can say it in public. You're the hardest working e-bike content creator, in my opinion, out there. I think because you're what do you do, like 32 hours of work in 24 hours, somewhere on there, with your range test, and yeah, you work really hard, so you go all over the top.
well, and I've always told you thank you for that. But let's go with this question that Chackologist 2024 asked. And this is for you 100%, right? Since you're a hyper e-bike collector or reviewer, what do you think about the Betrex e-bikes? And this is what he put after that. They literally have a 2300 watt mid-drive motor e-bike on an MTB chassis with a motorcycle chain on the side, in addition to normal pedal assist on another. It's called the Juggernaut FS XD. I don't know if you're familiar with that bike.
I know that bike. I saw it actually last year. I thought it was an awesome concept, and they were, I think, one of the first ones to make something like that, at least mass produce it. And I think it's a great concept. It's amazing because it gives you a mid drive, but it replaces a part of the mid drive that's most prone to breaking, which is the chain and the gearing. And so what they did was they just removed all the other gears and have one big gear. The downsides to that bike now, as of today, is that it's a little bit underpowered compared to the Benel. I don't know if you know that bike that's out now. It's a CYC based bike, and the frame looks better on the Benel. The motor's more. I think overall it just looks better built, and it's the same price. It's about $5,000. So I'd love to see more bikes with that setup. there's pros and cons to it because you're kind of locked into one specific speed because you only have one gear on the chain. So you either have more top end speed or more low end torque, and it's tough to find a balance sometimes between what every rider wants. But yeah, that's a long-winded way of saying I think it's awesome. I think more bikes should make that kind of e-bike. It's just expensive for what it is right now.
Um, okay, yeah, I because you're to me, you're kind of like the king of the freaking high speed bikes, you know, because
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but yeah, I just the normie bikes, I call them like class three and lower. Normie bikes, they have their place. I think they're fine for normie bike activities. I do it all the time. So like me and my girlfriend will go out and just put around the rail trail and go get pizza or something like that. I don't need to do 50 miles an hour when I'm on the rail trail, especially with her, especially if I'm towing my dog Laura. I don't know if my dog would appreciate that. Maybe she would, who knows? But yeah, they have their place, and I think they have nice features. But I just like fast bikes because they're almost in a gray area where they can go from trail to road and back to the trail, and you don't need insurance, you don't need a license.
yeah,
Um, well, you don't need a motorcycle license, depending on which state you are. And so they just give the most amount of freedom to people where you can do anything you want except you can go anywhere you want except the highway, essentially.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I have a couple of fast bikes, and it to me, I do not want to go 50 miles an hour on a bike. I don't want to. I do it in the review just because
Yeah.
people want to see it, and then after that, I'm like, you will never go that speed again with me on it
Yeah.
because I do
It could
not feel
be
comfortable with that.
It could be pretty sketchy depending on which bike you're on. Some of the ones that are more motorcycle oriented, they feel totally fine 50 miles an hour. Like the guys from Spark Cycle Works or Onyx, you feel great going 50. But on some other bikes, it's you feel one gust of wind, crosswind, and you feel your whole bike moving, and you're like, okay, maybe I should slow down. So depends on
Yeah.
the bike.
Yeah. I mean, I do like my aerial rider, right? It'll go in the 40s and that feels fine. I have the X class one. And then my goat power bike will do like 46, I think. And that feels comfortable. A lot of it has to do with like the suspension and the brakes, I feel like,
Yeah.
on what's going to
Yeah.
make you feel comfortable at those kind of speeds.
Mhm.
Um, oh, Road Trip Buddy asked, "What are your thoughts on the new Rivian e-bike, the ride?"
I saw it briefly. I saw some of the specs. Um, from what and I looked into this a long time ago, I think what they advertise is, I don't know the exact name of this setup, but essentially where your cranks aren't directly connected mechanically through a chain to the back wheel. It's almost like, I don't know exactly how it works. Like you put in power into the battery, but the battery will power a motor completely independent from your leg power. And from what I understand, it sounds nice, it sounds high tech, but there's a reason why the bicycle has been around so long. It's an insanely efficient setup to take your leg power and carry that power through a chain to the back wheel and then just have gears there. It's such an efficient setup, so I don't know. Time will tell as to how it works out. I just don't. I think there's going to be a. I don't know how much range you're going to get on it. The aesthetics are questionable. It's not for everyone. It kind of looks
Yeah.
funky. So, it's a love it or hate it thing, and we'll leave it at that. But time will tell. I know it's got a lot of cool tech on it. I think it has regen, it's nice for saving brake pads. I don't know what other features does it have. It has dual suspension.
Well, can't you like take something out and then like switch it up to where to make it a more of a mountain bike? I mean, I've seen some videos on it as well. Nobody's been able to do like a serious deep dive on this bike yet, that or
Yeah.
at least that I've seen. But for some reason, I saw where it's like you can take something out, replace it, um, to make it more mountain bike worthy or something. I cannot see somebody grabbing that bike for a single track, right? Like,
Yeah, I don't know if it's durable. It depends how hard you ride on the single track. Like if you're someone like Ben, like you'll probably break that bike. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's really good for single track. I'm looking at the specs right now, so it's $4,500. Like that's not nothing for sure. Okay, the battery size, the large size is only 808 watt hours.
Okay.
So not that big of a battery, especially for $4,500. Let's see, charge time 240 watts. The USB-C charge time, that's the max a USB-C port could probably provide. Yeah, yeah, it's their main thing is drive by wire. So, and again, there's from an efficiency standpoint, it's not going to be as good as just a chain. Like sometimes the simple stuff is the best, and it's a lot cheaper too. So I think it's going to be a niche product, almost maybe all like a status symbol for people.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I see it now.
Yeah. Looks like Ride Electric Reviews. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Glad to see you. He had a question. He's like, "Do you think we will see bigger crackdowns on fast e-bikes over the next year?" And I believe we will, 100%.
Probably, probably that seems to be where things are trending, especially now that a few states have done it, including my own. More states are just going to do it, and it's inevitable. You just hope that the states have a reasonable law. So, for example, in Connecticut, I think they passed a very reasonable law where you have three categories. You have your class one, two, and three e-bikes. And then you have what's called in the middle motor driven cycles, which you just need a driver's license for. And I think a helmet. You have to wear a helmet. And that's it. No insurance, nothing like that. And the top limit for that category is 3,700 watts, which is a lot for most people. That's a lot of power.
Hmm.
And after that is technically considered a motorcycle, so you need a motorcycle license. However, I don't see, you never know because Europe is doing this, but in order to really know the wattage of an e-bike, you have to dyno it. And what they do in Europe is they have roadside dynos, which sounds insane. Like talk about a poor use of resources. I don't know if they're going to do that here, but that's really the only way you know the power level of an e-bike. And the power level of an e-bike also changes. For example, it's different when it's fully charged versus 50% charged. So, there's a lot of gray area even there. So depending on how draconian the laws are, it's going to be up to the state, I guess.
Yeah, because right now in the US, dude, it's the wild, wild west, bro. Like you
I,
can
I
have,
like, dude, I love it. It's great.
you,
I think it's great.
you-
I think I call it the golden age where stuff is it's an illegal gray area and you can have the most fun with it, but unfortunately with a lot of freedom, you get more risk, and then you get
yeah.
crashes and kids on Surons with, listen, if I had a Suron when I was 16, I'd be flying around. I'd be flying around. I'd be a menace to society. It is what it is. That's just how kids are.
Yeah, dude, back in the day, I was on BMX bikes and I used to race them and stuff like that. And we were 100% a menace in
Yeah,
our town. There were times we had to run from the cops, and things like that. So I get it, but man, they're really going to make it. Those are the guys that's really going to mess it up for us. Hang on a second.
yeah,
Sahul Walker, this guy is watching from India. So good morning, or
nice.
well, I say good morning, but I have no idea what time it is over there. Um, and then good morning, e-biker Ronnie. He's a buddy of mine. We talk
Nice.
often.
What's up,
Um,
Ronnie?
Sammy Riley, his Heelys. Do you know what a Heelys is? They do
I think
25.
it's the shoe that has the wheel in the
Yeah,
back.
that's what
Yeah.
that's what I thought. That's what
Yeah.
I thought.
Speaking of which,
Um,
let's do some. I want some electric versions of those
I
product
bet
idea.
someday it'll come out.
Yeah.
Someday it will. Then he also asked that e-bikes are awesome till you're in the mountains with a dead battery hustling home. I did have that happen on an 80-pound e-bike on a black mountain bike trail. It was by Van Powers. It was called the Mana Day. And it just died on me halfway through, and I had to ride that bike back. I mean, I was doing a video at the time, so I mean,
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm about to, get my ass kicked riding this thing back home, and I
That's
did.
brutal, man.
Um, uh, let's see. E-Bike Ronnie has a question. Do you guys feel that the wired bikes motors are a bit louder than other high-powered e-bikes such as Magicians. Well, of course, right? I mean, we've proved it in head-to-head competitions with um, Matt from Electric All Wheel and I. Yeah, I was on the Wired Warrior. He was on the Magician. It's night and day on the amount of noise that the wired motor makes over any other e-bike out there.
Mhm.
I'm not saying it's the loudest. I'm also not saying it's not the loudest. It's just it gives off this sound that you were when you were cranking it and pushing it hard. That thing sounds like a Ferrari.
Yeah. Yeah, it's from what I've heard. I've never tested it myself, but I can hear it's on the louder side. So it's not for everyone. So depends on
Yeah,
what you value. Some
I
people
mean,
hate it, some people love it.
the bike itself, just it's huge. You know,
Yeah.
it's tall, it's long, and it's heavy. I mean, I've seen a lot of people in the groups that are selling their wired bikes when they come in because they're just like, this thing is just too big. You know,
Yeah.
I'm at 5'9", and like I don't know if I was like 5'5" or 5'7", like that bike's just going to be too big, even if you get like the step through version. I feel I could be wrong, but
Yeah. A lot of
um,
people in some videos I've mentioned it's difficult to convey the size and the weight of an e-bike through video. Even if you tell them the size and the weight, it's hard for the viewer to kind of understand that until they finally get it, and then they realize, boy, she's a big girl. This is a
yeah,
big bike. What I've told people before is, let's say you have a regular bicycle, you strap on a bunch of different weights on your bicycle, and then you'll make that bicycle equal the weight of whatever's advertised, and then just feel it out, see what you think. Sometimes you'll realize, hey, this is way too much for me, and I probably shouldn't have it. So that's what I tell people to do.
that's the first time I've heard that. So then basically people are just like scotch taping these giant bottles of water, gallons of water to their bikes in the front and the back to
Could be anything, and it's not going to be perfect. It could be some dumbbells, but it's
right.
it's better than just buying it and then being surprised and let down that like this thing is a Titanic-sized e-bike and I have to sell it. So
Yeah. Yeah, which is good for those people that are looking for a deal, though, that they were like, "Oh, I
true.
was thinking about getting that bike," and then they're like, "Boom, a brand new bike with 5 miles on it is now
Yeah,
selling," you know, and it's already assembled and together and all that.
yeah,
Let's
for sure.
see, Mashup Mike. Actually, that's a pretty good name. Actually, he
That
was
is a
talking
good
about
name.
when we were talking about the Rivian. He said that looks pretty goofy to me. You can take out the seat post and swap it with some other things like a cargo rack or a different type of seat, but to do this, you have to take off like a third of the bike.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I anytime a product comes out, it's never going to be perfect. I appreciate them spearheading some new technology. They're taking the risk to try new stuff. And so I think you could just build from what they're doing. I'm sure better versions are going to come out, and at least there's probably some technology from this bike that can be transferred to other bikes. So, for example, so I'm looking at it right now. I know they have some type of a traction control system where the front wheel, or excuse me, the rear wheel will always spin at the same speed as the front wheel. So you're never going to have traction loss like some other bikes. And I think that's something that they desperately need for dual motor bikes, because as you know, the front wheel, even if you have all the everything tuned perfectly, if you're turning and you hit a patch of sand on the pavement, that front wheel is going to lose traction. And in a four-wheel car, even three-wheel vehicle, you'll stay upright, but in a two-wheel vehicle, you're going down.
Yeah, 100%.
It's risky.
Yeah. Let me see, Rob, any biker, hi Scott and Alex, any more insider info on a small lighter wired? Well, I mean, I've interviewed, I talked with Steve from Wired, and he hasn't told me anything. So
Mm.
I don't know if you have any more info on that, Alex, but I know I don't.
From the interview I watched, it didn't seem like he was too excited to release an e-bike with 20-inch wheels.
Yeah, no, I don't
So
think that's going to
that's
happen at
what I
all.
got from the interview.
Yeah, I don't think he's doing that at all. So let's go back to you here for a second because you have a couple of different Facebook pages, right? And they're all on like
Just a few.
fast e-bikes, like 40. 40 mile an hour and plus, or something
That's
like
the
that.
biggest one. That one blew up. Yeah.
How big is that? I can't remember the size.
I think it's around 36,000 right now. And that one blew up, and that was awesome. That's, I call that Facebook group the Wild West Facebook group. I do minimal censorship there, so people can just say whatever they want. And it's that group blowing up really shows how many other people are interested in faster bikes. I don't know if it's just my audience that likes faster bikes, and they kind of just gravitate towards content creators who make content with faster bikes. But I think people really like them just because of all the freedom that they give you.
Um, from Ride Electric Reviews, what is your realistic ride percentage on faster e-bikes versus class 3 or lower? He says, I find I want to ride a class 3 or lower more than the faster bikes. I mean, I ride bikes 99% of the time, but I'm curious on your answer.
So I watched your interview with Mike, and he said pretty much what I do is I just kind of take out whatever bike I'm reviewing at the time, and then I'll just take that. So, for example, if the missus and I we want to go out and just ride around on the rail trail, I'll take whatever I'm reviewing. So that might have been the Magician Alpha, or that might have been the Escape Ranger. I would say the only reason I would ever go for a bike that's class 3 or lower is for how compact they can be and how lightweight they are. So if I have to pack a truck full of camping stuff and travel stuff wherever we're going, packing a giant 50-mile-an-hour bike is much harder than packing a smaller bike, especially if it's foldable. I'd say that's the biggest advantage of the lower powered bikes. But usually I'm on the faster stuff because you can go slow on it. You don't have to fly around on it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, with me, I mean, I do have my favorites, and most of
Yep.
them are in the class 3, arena, just
Mhm.
because I do ride bikes all the time. I have certain bikes for certain things, right? Like if I'm doing a grocery run, I'm grabbing the Electric Expedition 2.0 because I got that thing set up to haul all kinds of stuff, right?
Perfect. Yeah.
If I'm going to the chiropractor or something like that, then yeah, I'm going to grab whatever I'm
Make sure you
reviewing.
take a hardtail to loosen up the spine.
Exactly. Well, with I do have, but here's the thing, like I don't like using, if I have to go somewhere and leave the bike, I don't like using a bike that hasn't been reviewed yet, because if it gets stolen, then like now what am I going to do? Like then I have to go out and purchase the bike or repurchase the bike so I can review it. And
Yeah.
so I normally end up taking something that has already been reviewed, because at least if does get stolen, then I don't feel like I need to replace it. Although I do, if that Expedition 2.0 got stolen, I would immediately replace it just because.
Yeah.
I mean, I
It's
reviewed
that
a lot
good.
of cargo bikes, and that's the only one that I've kept. Um, so let's see.
That's a
So
good
yeah,
bike.
I
Tim and I, we torture tested that bike out in Arizona. I jumped it. I took it downstairs. He took it down the stairs, and it held up amazing.
yeah, I took it up the stairs with 100 pounds of weight on the back of it.
Damn. Yeah, that's a good bike. That's durable.
Yeah, I
Wow.
just don't like the kickstand. I don't like the kickstand on that thing. I need
Yeah.
to switch it out, but I haven't figured
Yeah.
out what to switch it out to. But if I figure it out, I'm going to do it immediately.
Yeah. That'd be a
Um,
good video.
it would. We got a bunch of questions. Holy cow! Um, or a bunch of comments. Sorry, guys. Let's give me a second here.
Sam Riley's Heelys do 25 miles an hour.
Yeah, we already
Uh,
talked about that.
Sam. Those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up. 25. Come on, man.
Yeah, go down a hill, right? A mountainous hill. Road Trip Buddy says, "Who do you think makes the best cargo e-bike?" I think I just answered that question. I didn't even see it, but personally, that's that's what I feel. And the only reason, or the main reason that I like that bike so much is because normally when I'm doing cargo runs on any other bike, whether it be an Aventon, Velotric, or something like that, because I've had those cargo bikes as well, is that after I do the trip and the load, then I have to recharge the battery, and that's not convenient for me because my bikes just don't sit in my garage. Like I don't have room for it. So with the Expedition, it has 2 batteries, and I can do, like, 5 or 6 trips before I have to recharge that back up. And, I mean, it's
Yeah.
smooth and it's quiet. Yeah, I would say the only downfall is it's a little bit longer than other ones, so it takes
Yeah.
up more room,
Yeah.
but that was, like, the only downfall I could see of that bike and the kickstand. So, yeah, I would say that, or what are the top 3 cargo bikes, alright? So you have the Electric Expedition 2.0. If you like the security part of it, then the Abound LR and the Velotrek Packer. Those are, I think, the best ones for the money. I reviewed Electrigo, and they had a very nice mid drive. It was a little bit more expensive, but it was very tall because that one had 24-inch wheels on it. And I don't know if I don't have a kid to put on the back of that thing, so I think that might be a little
That you
sketch.
know of.
Yeah, well, I would know at this point. Um, Let me see. Mike McPherson. Oh, video is very deceptive. I just got a Rambless a couple days ago and didn't realize the motor is literally just the size of my fist. Which, yeah, the A100 motor is not big at all, but it is powerful. Now it's not as small as like the DJI, that small DJI motor. There's a couple
Yeah.
other ones out there as well that are very small. I don't know. Um, have you reviewed the? Have you been on a Rambless?
No, no. Let me take a look at it.
So it's a Venton's hardtail mountain bike, and it became like my favorite. I liked it so much that I bought a second one so buddies
Oh,
can
I
ride
see.
with me.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good looking bike. I don't know what you're talking about. The motor size looks perfectly average to me. I'm just gonna say,
Yeah, but
perfectly average.
yeah, I mean, to me, it's the size of a Bafang. It's the size of
Yeah.
but on the videos though, like you were saying when we were talking about the wired bikes, you can't really show how big they are,
Yeah.
on video. So, video is deceptive. So he's right there. All right, so I had some other questions for you because not all of us, I'm full time YouTube because I'm retired military, but you are not, sir. So what do you do for a living?
So I cut my hours a lot, specifically to put more time into the e-bike content creation business. But I do personal training pretty much full time, kind of like semi part time now. It's something that I started doing at the end of college. I started going to school for graphic and information design, but during my last year, metabolism slows down in college and I got fat. So I started working out and I loved it. I'm like, this is the best thing ever. So I finished that degree and I just went full time into personal training. And I've been doing that for 11 years now. And it's great. It's an awesome job. I work with a great company. And it's funny now I'm finally using the graphic design skills that I had from college, even though I forgot a lot of it. At least I'm using it to some extent. So I'm still doing personal training. I think it's great for hanging out with people in person, staying socially calibrated, because if you stay inside all day long, just taking video and then editing it, I think you're going to turn into a hermit eventually. So it kind of keeps me out and about and talking with people. So, and it forces you to stay in reasonable shape because you can't be a 400-pound personal trainer. So you got that bonus too.
Right. Back in 2018, I went through a program called FitOps where I became a personal trainer, and I trained nobody. After that, I was
Train yourself, man. You train.
after
You're the first client. Yeah.
I basically used that to because I was constantly hurting myself, right? Like, I mean, when you're in the military and the jobs that I had, right, being a ranger, like you always had to be, hitting the weights and stuff because we have a certain like you can't look. I can't be a
Yeah.
400-pound. Well, you can, but
Yeah. There's
yikes.
consequences. Yeah.
Right, right. So, and then I would, constantly hurt myself. So when I went through that, I was like, all right, at least I figured out how to
Yeah.
not hurt myself whenever training. So props to you on that. Like, do you have any plans on becoming like full-time YouTube, or what's that going to take for you to be able to do that?
To be honest, I don't know. This is actually so I have questions for you as well, Scott. We can kind of go back and forth. In terms of going full-time YouTube, I, that would take some more expanding of the YouTube side of my life. I'm not quite sure what I would do in that sense. What would you do personally to expand your YouTube business?
Okay, so wasn't ready for you to ask me anything. What would I do to expand my YouTube business? All right, here
Yeah,
we work harder.
more. So more work, Scott.
Dude, if you knew how
God
many
bless you,
hours I
man.
actually put into doing like YouTube stuff, because I answer every comment, right? I answer even replies to comments. Any videos that I've collabed on, I will answer those. I'll comment on those as well. Um, then we have to deal with the manufacturers and try to see if it's a bike that even interests me or interests
Mhm.
us to work on. Um, then there's the whole business side of it, the editing side, and all of that. I think if somebody really, it started off as a hobby, probably same thing with you, and then turned into a business. So if somebody was to expand it, oh, one thing I did that I feel has helped is before I even had 1,000 subscribers, I signed up for a thing called vidIQ, and
Okay.
that and for the or there's other ones out there. There's like TubeBuddy or something
I
like
use
that.
TubeBuddy. Yeah, I
Yeah,
use TubeBuddy.
right. And then at this point, I actually have a YouTube coach that
Oh, you do it nice.
I've
Is
gotten.
his name Tim Chitwood?
It is not. It is not.
Oh, okay.
But
Right, Tim.
it's actually you can hire them through vidIQ as well. And I gave it a
Nice.
shot. They had like a 6-month deal for half off, and I'm like, all right, let's see what that does. And having another expert that I could bounce ideas, titles, um, things off of, like she'll watch my video and go, okay, well, maybe on the next one, because of her, I started adding B-roll to my specs, making
Hmm.
it not as boring. Right. And then
That's
she
a
talked
great
about,
idea. That's
yeah.
awesome.
And then she talked about pace. Right.
Yeah.
So it's good having somebody that's done this at a higher level than you,
Yeah.
to learn from. So I would say get help if you to expand your YouTube
Yeah.
business,
I'm
sign
actually
up for
going
a
to
program.
writing that down right now because that's something that I'm looking to do.
Yeah. Um, so I mean, yeah, so that's what doggone you asking questions that make me think. Um, that is not part of the plan here. Let's see. What else? Ride Electric Reviews retracted his message. All right, I think he rewrote it though. If you could only own one bike, what would it be? His would be the Ramblers. Yeah. You know what? Since they've updated, so when the Ramblers first came out, it was only a class one e-bike. So it only do 20 miles an hour. But it does have 100 Newton meters of torque. So the thing's a freaking billy goat. Like you can go
Yeah.
up crazy, crazy steep stuff. Then they did a firmware update, allowed you to take it up to 28 miles an hour. Now you still don't
Hmm.
have a throttle that you can get with it, but it would either be, I would say, if I could only own one bike, well, I'd probably have to be the electric expedition 2.0, only because it's versatile. I don't have to haul stuff on it, but I can't
Yeah.
really haul a whole grocery because I'll pick up cases of water, 80-pound bags of dog food. Right.
Hmm.
I can't do that with the Rambless. I can't do it with my Adventure 3. Basically, that's the only bike I'd be able to do it with. What about you? What would be your only bike?
So for me, I think everyone's use is different from a bike. It sounds like because you're in a city, driving is a pain in the ass, and so it's
Mhm.
probably easier for you to take a bike than a car. Where I live, it's the exact opposite. Everything is further away, so generally speaking, I'm driving. And for me, I would probably go, and I said this in my recent video, I would probably go with the Escape Ranger because it's got normal bicycle geometry. It goes 50 miles an hour. If I need to take the lane in a road in my state, which a lot of them are hilly and fast, I can usually keep up with traffic. And I can go slow with it too. I can go on a rail trail and just hang out and just chill out too. It does have a rear rack for storage, but my use is mostly enjoyment, which it sounds like for you, you're kind of using your bike for utility purposes, where I'm just hanging out on the bike. I'll just use it for a group ride or just to chill out. So, but
Yeah.
with that bike, I can do most of anything I want except very challenging off-roading courses, which I generally don't even want to do unless I'm testing a bike.
Hmm.
Yeah,
See, I enjoy doing the mountain bike stuff, right? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I'm up here at our cabin, and the plan was tomorrow was to take the Adventure M, which is a mid-drive fat tire bike, and it's like a cross between the Rambless and the Adventure 3,
Mm.
and do a mountain bike test with it. But we got a storm coming in. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be like tomorrow. So I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to do it or not. Now, Justin White asked a question, and I think you might have just answered it. Well, it's not even really fair, but so it's he says Escape Ranger or Magician Alpha Mini, and no one has the Alpha Mini to review. So I don't
Yep.
normally comment
Well,
when it
I'll
comes
say
to
this about that.
aesthetics.
If you want to step through, you're gonna have to go with the Mini because
Yeah,
the Ranger is not a step through.
yeah.
Um, I think that's just my opinion. We'll leave it at that. If you need a step through, go with the Mini.
Hmm.
If you don't, I think the battery setup of the Ranger is better. It has 5 extra amp hours of battery as well.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think the motors are the same. The whole power system is pretty much the same. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah. I think it's going to be more like aesthetics and stuff because I pre-ordered the
yeah,
Mini.
yeah,
Um, I saw I saw the Ranger because I watched your reviews on it, and you're right. Like where the battery is, like right above the other battery, it's still going to have that low center of gravity, as
yeah.
opposed to having that the 10 amp battery on the rear rack. But since I haven't reviewed like a 20-inch bike with that kind of setup yet,
Mhm.
mm, like I don't know because I feel like with my aerial rider, both of those batteries are up towards the front as well.
Yeah,
And although it's not mine's not on the down tube, but you can put it there. I think it looks cooler up at the top. So, but I do like how that bike performs. So especially
yeah.
with the weight of
There's
the
an
battery.
aesthetics component to it too. So
Mhm.
it's not, the Ranger is not for everyone. Some people see it and they think it's fine. Other people, they think it's ugly. That's fine. That's personal preference.
Mhm. Well, and Joey's at e-bikes and adventure says that the Ranger has front and rear blinkers as well. True, but I don't think the front ones you can see that well unless it's like nighttime.
Generally, man, blinkers on an e-bike from most of them, they're not all that visible on the road. To the eyes of a driver, you have to install usually motorcycle blinkers for them to be clearly visible. Some of them are better than others, but a lot of people like their turn signals. I have bikes with turn signals. I forget to use them. I always forget. So
Yeah. Oh well, I use them a lot. Like when they first came out, I thought it was a gimmick. And
yeah.
then I started using them and I'm like, "Ooh, this is like an addition." I really like the turn signals on the goat bikes
Mm,
and
yeah.
on the
Those are
aerial
good.
rider ones because they're
Yeah.
bright.
Those
They're
are
a lot
very bright.
brighter.
Yeah. Those are the better
Yeah.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, but then like yesterday I was reviewing the Hey Bike Ranger 3.0 Pro, and I like the fact that they also have front and rear um blinkers, but they're just not as bright as
Yeah.
others, but they're also smaller. So I mean, I get it. You know, uh, there's always that give and take when it comes to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, let's see. What is your favorite e-bike that you reviewed though? Like out of all the ones you've done, like what's your favorite? Or do you even have one
Now, is this a question from you or someone else?
from me?
Favorite by as in most fun or favorite like I would buy this if I had to buy one bike. Which one is that?
No, like the
Or both?
which one did you like enjoy the most? Like you're like, oh my gosh, this thing would be, fun in so many things, or something that there are certain bikes like when I ride it, I like it so much that I compare other bikes to, and I kind of consider that like would be my favorite. Like it's the standard, so it's either going to be
Mhm.
above this or below this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, I think it'd probably be the Ranger. It'd probably be the Ranger.
Wow. Okay.
It's so well set up. It's so well balanced. It's smaller. It's a really good bike. It's the only downsides are the aesthetics, not for everyone. But besides that, I think I feel like I could do anything in that bike, including go fast and far if I want to, just because of how much battery it has.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd say that's the Ranger.
Okay. And considering that that's just came out, and you've already reviewed. How many bikes have you reviewed? Do you think?
I don't even know. I have no idea.
You think it's over
At
50?
least somewhere, maybe between 25 and 50, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
So, and there's always small test rides of, hey, let's try this bike, try that bike, and it happens to be on camera. So
Yeah.
the word
Yeah.
review is, it's subjective what that is.
Okay. What is the worst bike that you've ever reviewed?
Oh man.
I'll tell you mine once you get done with yours.
You know what? I'm going to tell you two things with this one. The first one is probably, I remember I was just riding it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It was like the King Bull Rover, I think. I tried that bike, and the suspension it had rear suspension, and I swear to God, it was just for show. Like it didn't even move. It barely moved. And I just hated riding that thing. The whole time I was riding it, like a little bit in regret, like why did I agree to this? Um, so that bike I did not enjoy. It didn't look good. It just didn't feel good. Um, let's see. Some bikes, and I have to add a small detail to this. Some bikes could go from good or bad to good if they just lower the price. So like if they gave you a bike that's okay, but it was a great price, now all of a sudden it's a pretty good bike. But the price has to be put into perspective. I'd say that's probably my least favorite bike to review. Um, what I'm finding now, and I'm testing more and more bikes, is how manufacturers and companies they will, and some of them deny this. There's always some excuse, and I know you've experienced this yourself. There will be a certain capacity label on a battery, and my testing of that battery just doesn't match up what they claim.
Hmm.
Um, you can think about that whatever you want, but my test data shows that the capacity is one thing, and then they'll show the capacity is here. And I have a couple of videos coming out that are just very demoralizing based on the difference in what they advertise versus what the tests show. And so that kind of annoys me also while I'm reviewing a bike. I like it, I like how it feels, but then I know it's not what they say it is. So that's kind of demoralizing as well.
Yeah, I've been having that issue with A Pass. I think
Yeah.
people are aware that have seen that, and which that really, man, I'm so torn up about that actually because I don't like going down that path, and then like now that I know that they do it, now I feel like I'm obligated to keep going this direction, and I don't want to do videos like that. Like I really like the fact that you have that machine that will test the batteries out with you without you having to just like strip them down. I mean, I know you did it with that
Yeah.
one, you and was it
That
Bio?
was it was an eBiko EB10, and that was
Yeah.
the first time it became very apparent that what they advertise does not match up reality, and sometimes it's very far from reality. That was my first exposure to that, and since then I've kind of realized this testing really has to happen because for consumers it's almost impossible to know for sure the true capacity of a battery unless you a open it up, which is very dangerous, or b test it, which that's unreasonable for consumers to do, to buy
Hmm.
the machine I have. And so I really want to start testing every battery just to uplift the companies that are honest with their battery specs to make them look better, and to also show companies that let's just say there's a large discrepancy in what I test versus what they advertise. So I think that's hugely important because it's otherwise nobody knows. Like it's tough to test that.
Yeah, I mean, it's even as reviewers, it's
Yeah,
hard to test that as well.
yeah, yeah.
So the fact that you're taking that route with them, I'm just like, man, how can I get him to test all my batteries? Because I don't want to do what you're doing.
It's
Right.
not bad. Trust me, it's not all that bad. Once you do it a few times, you realize that you just set the voltage to a certain amount, and that's pretty much it. There's certain battery discharge tools. The one I have now can only discharge a battery at a maximum of 600 watts, which isn't all that much for most batteries, at least the faster ones.
Mhm.
If you wanted to test the performance of the pack, you would need to discharge it at a much higher rate. Then you run into issues where, okay, you're pushing these battery cells a little bit too far, what they might be able to do. There might be a fire risk for that. But 600 watts discharge test, you're pretty much just testing the capacity of the battery, not necessarily how well it can perform.
Yeah. Well, because I see you do that. I'm like, man, like my reviews are long enough already, right? Mine are like a Netflix series, right? Like I can't, I'm just like I try to figure out what I can do to not
Yeah,
make them any longer than what they already are. Because I mean, when
that makes sense.
I take them out for that day, and whatever happens, happens. Like I don't know what's going to happen. Like you don't either. Um, but you are able to, you're able to break yours down into like different videos, which I used to do when I was smaller, but then I've reviewed so many bikes that if I can't cover everything in one video,
Yeah,
um, then then things start to get backlogged the way that they are. So now, I've tried to do it to where it's all in one, but I really enjoy the fact that you are able to use that machine like with Area 15 where they have the
the
dyno,
diamond. I am
right?
I am in I am talking with a company out in the Netherlands right now to get a dyno. So we're trying to work out a deal. So I'll hopefully be doing that as well.
That would be
Because as you know, the torque claims also one
right.
company says one torque number that's clearly slower than another company that says another torque number that's yeah, that's different. And so one of the reasons I started my channel is because one reviewer could say this e-bike is fast, and then you're thinking to yourself, well, what is fast? How fast is it compared to what? And so the hill test that I have, I go up this the same way,
Hmm.
in the same
Every time.
fashion, and that way you can compare. Just because a company advertises a certain number, it might not match up to what Alex's review says because it's kind of weaker. So getting that objective data, it's kind of dry, it's kind of boring, but at least you'll know, okay, this is how this bike actually performs, not what this reviewer says, calling it just fast, or what the company says, saying it has whatever kind of torque numbers it has.
Yeah, and that's why I also have the standardized testing
Yeah,
that I have. Like, I mean, I
yeah,
know that if a bike doesn't have 100 Newton meters of torque, it's not going to make it up the hill of doom, and I don't even try. Oh, of course,
yeah.
I said that, but then I did it with the Velotrek Triker, and dude, that just blew my mind. I'm like, I just
Nice.
when I took it up that 20% grade on the hill of pain, I'm like, man, this trike feels just way more powerful than what they're advertising. Some companies under advertise like Wired, they'll under advertise how strong
Yeah.
the bike is, right?
Hmm.
But then I also feel like Magician over, um,
Hmm.
because when we did the drag race, right? Apparently the Magician has 200 Newton meters of torque, and the Wired only has 180. But when we
Hmm.
did the drag race, that bike, the Magician might have 150. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it would not have. I mean, it was like 10 bike lengths difference
Yeah.
on
That
the
makes
same
sense.
right. And it's like, okay, well, this is where you show that maybe somebody rounded up and somebody rounded down.
Could
you know
could be that could be a possibility. One of the nice things about having a dyno is that you'll also see the
Mhm.
torque and power curve
Curve.
of
Yeah.
the power because some bikes more low end torque, more different mid range torque. So I want to see that also.
Yeah. And I mean, unless you have something like that, then we're just kind of like,
You're
just
guessing.
we're
Yeah,
just trying
we're doing
to
our best.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're doing what we can with what we have. Let's
Yeah.
see what kind of comments are up here. Mark's e-bike escapes. He says, "Hello, Scott and Alex and everyone. What's going on, guys?" He's waiting for the Magician Mini. He does have an Abound SR and loves it, or which is by Aventon, which is for the city. I feel like there's no other company that has the security features that Aventon has right now. They're getting beat up
Mhm.
because they have 36-volt bikes, but they're also moving into the UK market, and the 36 volts
Oh,
is going to
okay.
be
I
fine.
see.
But the
I
way
see.
they've worked the controllers, the bikes are just as powerful as a 48 volt,
Mhm.
right? So they have higher controller output, which allows, it that's the balancing act that they were able to do, and the security features, especially in
Yeah.
Chicago. When Tim and I knew that we were going to do these sightseeing tours and that we were going to have to leave bikes unattended for a while, dude, I'm like, we're taking the adventures, because
Yeah.
I locked the rear hub on them both. I geo fenced it for like the entire city of Chicago, and I
Mhm.
could and I could track them down no matter where they went. So I mean, and that's what I love about the Inventon bikes. I understand him having an Abound SR and loving it. Um, Mike McPherson, any chance of or any advice for starting a new e-bike channel? Um, I feel like I have a different perspective to come with, and thanks for what you guys do. I think didn't we kind of covered that a little bit, didn't we? Maybe.
I tell this to people who want to do the e-bike thing. Buy a bike that A, you like, and B, you think other people might like, and just make videos. Whatever kind of video you want, just start making videos. I bought the Kepler and I strapped my smartphone to my chest, and I just started making videos. And when you like the bike, the excitement is going to show through the camera. And obviously, if other people are going to like the bike, you'll get views because people want to know more about the bike. And so the Kepler at the time was popular. One of the reasons I got it is it was one of the few faster bikes out there that still looked like an electric bicycle or a bicycle.
Hmm.
And so a lot of people wanted the same thing. And so I kind of got lucky in that sense that it was a popular place to start with. So just get a popular bike and just start making videos.
Yeah, I agree. Just hit record and upload it. I mean,
Yeah, you'll
you
get better as you go along. It's never going to be perfect. My videos still are terrible, and so I'm still trying to get better.
well, I don't, I don't consider them terrible. So I watch them. There you go. I
I'm
watch them.
sorry. I'm sorry for that.
Uh-oh, storm's hitting. Um,
Yeah.
uh, Let me see, Jeff, Gad. Hey, Jeff, I'm going to mess up your name, and I apologize for that. But it says, can we talk about what tech you see coming in the near future? I think a lot of it's going to have to do with batteries.
The near future. Well, would say that what is 1 year or 5 years or
Uh,
what do you think?
yeah, I think near future, uh, 5 years, 5 years, everything's going to look totally different with these bikes, guaranteed.
Hmm.
Like that, I think whether it be the regulations that make everybody have to comply,
Yeah.
right? Or whether it be new technology that's coming out, because I feel like every year there's way more tech and everything gets better, because if somebody builds something and then other companies want to compete, then they make improvements, kind of, and it's just we all win. Like as consumers, we win because you're
Yeah.
getting these. But then again, it can be too technologically advanced, and then you have to use a cell phone, and maybe you use your watch to start it up. But I think.
I'll tell you one thing that I'm seeing. I'm starting to see small amounts of, and I'm actually a fan of this. With all the increases in regulation, I'm starting to see different ways to circumvent the restrictions. For example, let's say you have an area where you're only allowed class 3 bikes, 750 watts maximum. Some bikes out there, I think the aerial rider, you can unlock in your phone, but as soon as you turn the bike off and back on, it's locked. It's locked again. So let's say someone were to be going 40 miles an hour on the bike they get pulled over, you can turn the bike off and on, and immediately it's locked. And so it's not necessarily that it's breaking the law in the way that it's sold, even though they're supposed to unlock the bike, but it gives people the option to kind of deal with laws a little bit better. And I'm starting to see people with there's one company that has some kind of secret button under the seat that you press that restricts the power. So stuff like that, I think, are out there in terms of how many features you can
Mhm.
have on what. There's always going to be someone to work around that. For example, I don't know if you've seen the new forced reset trigger.
Yes, I have.
Ridiculous,
Right.
ridiculous. You
It's like,
guys,
well,
go
it's
look up the forced reset trigger and realize that's illegal. Unbelievable.
right.
But yeah,
It's how
I
to.
think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can definitely see it. Like, I mean, Ariel Rider did it
Yeah,
with if you turn the bike off, then it goes. The bike's locked out, 750 watts. That's what it is, right? And it'll lock at 20 miles an hour, and then you
yeah,
have to use a third party app to unlock that bike
yeah. So
to make it go fast.
it protects them legally, and then but it
Mhm.
also gives the consumer some options.
Yeah, yeah, and I get it because some people just like the look of it. They're fine with keeping it at you know
Mhm.
class two and 20 miles an hour. Let's see. Oh, Jeff. I'm just going to stick with Jeff because I butcher it, and he says I was close, but that doesn't. Who knows which way that went? But he says he likes the button idea for 52 volts. Um.
Joey said blinkers are useful at night. That's true. I didn't even think of that. I don't ride
Oh
at night,
yeah.
so I never experienced that. But that's true. Even if they're small blinkers, they'll definitely be seen because you can't see hand signals. So
Yeah.
good point, Joey. I didn't even think of that.
How fast? What was the fact? Because I know you were on the Onyx, the 80 volt OCR or whatever they call it. But how
Yeah.
fast have you been? How fast have you gone on an e-bike?
So that was second fastest. I think I went 67 on that. The fastest I was on was my Altus Sigma that I had, and that went 68. So you could say they're pretty much the same. And that was as soon as I did the Altus, I went 68 on first. And as soon as I did that, I realized I would never go that fast ever again on that bike. And so I kind of realized I think we've reached a limit as to how much speed and power you really need. For me, my comfort level maxes out at 55. Once you start encountering even small turns going that fast, it's unless you're on a motorcycle built for it, it's kind of sketchy.
Now I have a motorcycle license. I've had it for like 35, 40 years.
Mm.
Do you have a motorcycle license?
I got mine last year. Yeah, I got it
Okay.
last year.
Okay. So at least, because there's a lot of people that they're like, these aren't e-bikes, they need to be registered. And I mean, I agree, right? Like, I mean,
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, some of these are just that way, and that's what needs to
Yeah.
happen. But right now, you can't do that. Like, there's no way to do it. They're not going to go by serial number. These don't have VIN numbers, and so the regulations aren't there to figure it out.
Mhm.
But if it happens, I'm not opposed at all.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
I've also been like offered like e-motos to review, but with me
Yeah.
living in like the city of Chicago, I'm like, okay, now I can't put it on a bike lane. Now I have to stick in with traffic. So then I might as well just be on a motorcycle. I mean, I could take it
Yeah.
off the bike lane. I mean, I have the Segway Cyber, and people are like, "Oh, that's an e-moto." I'm like, wrong. I can pedal it.
Yeah.
Um, but that's probably about like, you know, I fake pedal that bike when I'm on bike trails because I want
Yeah.
and there's no fake pedaling on like a Suron or you know what I mean? Like
Even in
it's
stock, you can get pedal kits on a Suron, but yeah,
my Ghost
people,
Cat
yeah.
looks the F4X straight up looks like a dirt bike. And so
Yeah.
I pedal that one whenever I'm on, on the trails as well because I just don't want like that's why Wired and like Magician, they're just keeping them looking like bikes because nobody really turns their head whenever I'm riding one of those because they're used
100%.
to seeing it. They're like, that's a bike. But the moment I ride a moped style e-bike, especially my Cyber, people are just like, Tim noticed it. Tim was riding behind me when he was up visiting. He's like, dude, he's like, you're getting so many looks on that bike.
Wow.
I'm like, well, is it because they think I look like ice? Because I getting confused people are
Yeah.
confusing me for them, or is it because of the bike? And he's like, yeah, bro, it's probably just both.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say it might be a combination. Yeah.
Um, let's see what is going. All right, I'm gonna let you ask me a question since you say you have some.
Yeah. Let's see. What do you think? Actually, no. Let's ask something more fun. What do you think is the biggest misconception that people have about being an e-bike content creator? Or maybe top two misconceptions?
I think that I'm going to stop letting you ask me questions. I think
Fair enough.
that's how that's going to go. The two top misconceptions. I think number one is that because in most cases we will get the bike for free, right?
Mm,
In most cases. So I
yeah,
think because of that, and it could be true, but the biggest I think conception is because we've gotten that bike for free, there's nothing wrong with it. Like every bike that we receive for free is amazing. And so I think that's a big misconception because I know you show it. I know I show it that they're not. Like there's not a
yeah,
single bike out there, whether I paid for it, gotten paid to review it, or got it for free that hasn't been featured good and bad. You
yeah,
know, so I think that they think that because we get these bikes for free, and to me, I just look at it as a tool. This is something for me to review, right? I
yeah,
don't, it is what it is. And if I purchase the bike because I want to own it and I can't work out a deal with the company, right? It gets the same treatment. Right?
mm,
Like
yeah,
was my investment worth it, right? So
yeah,
I would say that would be like the biggest one. And then number
mm,
two, um, because we can't keep all the bikes that we have, it's just logistically impossible for me. And I would probably say for most people, plus we don't want to we're only going to keep our favorite ones, right? I don't need 14 folding e-bikes. Like, what am I going to do with that? And even the ones that I like often get sold because I would rather somebody be able to ride them on a daily basis
yeah,
as opposed to just sitting in storage waiting for me to take it out.
yeah.
So I think that other people think that because we get these for free and we go to sell them, that they should get them for free.
Yeah, that last part you said about someone else enjoying it. Yesterday, I sold an e-bike, the chopper style, big new e-bike,
Yeah.
and it's been sitting in my living room because it's too big and heavy to keep it in my basement where I store most of my bikes. And I like it. I was thinking about keeping it, but I have so many things going on. I don't put miles on it. And so I sold it and it went to a 13-year-old kid and it was his birthday. You should have seen how excited he was to ride this thing. He was so happy. So you could just tell he's going to get so much more enjoyment out of this bike versus it just sitting in my living room. And even though I wanted to keep it, I was like, you know what? I got to get rid of this because it's just sitting there. Um, but in terms of misconceptions, first of all, the bike that we get for free, it's essentially like getting paid upfront to do anything. So the company wants ultimately marketing that leads to sales, and they are paying us with the bike to do this marketing. Some companies, they work different deals, but essentially it's not free. It's you get this thing, and it would be free if they just sent it and we didn't do anything. That'd be great. That'd be nice. But
Right.
unfortunately, it's like you have to actually put in the hours to make the video. And then the last thing I want to mention specifically with the topic of time is how much editing it takes
Hmm.
to edit these videos. Really, to be an e-bike reviewer, you can really just say you're going to be a video editor. That's pretty much what you're doing because it's a few hours of filming. For you, it's 10 hours. For me, it's a little bit less. But it's way more editing time. So just get used to sitting on the computer and just staring at the screen and video editing. I don't know. I don't think people know just how much time that takes.
Yeah. As I'm thinking about that, because you brought up a good point. When I first started doing reviews, I think I was doing them in iMovie, right? Which is just a free program that comes with any Apple computer, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
one of their free software things. And then after a while, I wanted to make it look more professional. So I think I used that for like a year. I used it for my travel videos. I used it for any time that, and where you kind of learn like the basics and stuff like that. Um, but then I wanted it to look more professional. Like I would see like, other guys come up with titles or whatever and stuff like that. And then I'm like, I want that. How do I get that happen? So then you will have to spend some time learning how to edit. Now I use Final Cut Pro. What do you use?
So I use all the Adobe stuff. That's just what I grew up on. I used it in
Mhm.
high school. I used it in college, and so I just stuck with that because I'm so familiar with it.
Yeah, well, of course you were a graphic designer.
Yeah,
I owned a website design company for more than 20 years. So
yeah,
I use Adobe, Photoshop as well. But since I'm an Apple guy, right?
mm,
I try to keep everything as much as I can to Apple,
yeah.
just because then, I can, if I'm working on something, I can literally like switch it over to my iPad and be just fine.
It's more
Um,
seamless. Yeah, makes
the,
sense.
yeah. So, these are some really good points. Yeah. I mean, I'm still editing the segue video because here's what people don't here's what people don't see, and I know that this has happened to you before. Here's what they don't see. I was filming the segue video, and I use 360 footage a lot,
Mm,
right? So I feel like I use that more now than the POV stuff, just because I don't know. I just personally I like how that looks. Like I like being able to talk to people and stuff like that. I know you're starting to use it more. Um,
yeah,
but
yeah,
so I do the whole day, film this whole thing, and then I go back to edit it and realize that when I was wearing gloves because it was cold, that I
mhm.
changed the settings on the 360 and white it
Uh,
out
I've
halfway
been there.
through.
Yeah,
White it out half the whole review. So then I'm
yep,
like, oh no. So then I have to go through and then just remove all the GoPro footage where everything went bad and the 360 footage, figure out where I'm at, what I've missed, right? Which took 2 hours for me to go through and go, what did I cover here? What did I cover here? Because I don't want to miss anything. Then the next day had to go out and dude, I did not want to do it. Right. There's no way I wanted to go back out and
yeah.
refilm what I've already filmed.
Hmm.
Right. But so then that was like another half day of doing a road test on the scooter. Um, my knees, I have knee issues, and thank God that thing was full suspension because they were
Oh man,
tired. They were tired, but they weren't beat up. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, if this was like one of those like $800 scooters or whatever that doesn't have any suspension on them and the tiny wheels, like
yeah,
I would be hurting. But luckily, my knees were tired, obviously, but it didn't happen. So people don't see the fact that there's many times, well, okay, not many, but there's times when we will have to go back and either we don't like how the footage came out or we feel like we didn't cover enough or whatever. And then we have to go out and reshoot it.
go back. Yep, yep. It all takes
Then,
time. It takes a lot of time. It's not just going out and hanging out on the bike. It's a lot of thought put into what you're filming, how you're filming it, and then like I said, the editing is just it just takes forever.
yeah. And then the amount of equipment I destroy in my
Oh,
in,
okay.
in my reviews. I
I
mean,
think you left what, a 360 camera, and then what else?
drones.
A drone. Oh boy. Okay.
No, like I purchased like six at this point,
Damn.
right?
Should have
And
a
they're
description.
not the cheap ones, right?
Yeah. Oh,
They're the DJI Mini 4 Pros, and they were Mini 3s. I just got the Mini 5, but I have not used it at all yet. I haven't even like had its first flight because I always like to have a backup one because I know I'm going to trash out one. And then again, I have like two Hover Air X1 Pros, and one went into
yep.
the river, and so I have that other one as the
Oh,
backup,
yeah.
right? And then
That's smart.
I had two beacons. I have no idea where one of them is, where one of the
Yeah.
beacons are. It's just like what happens? 360s. I think I've probably purchased my fifth one at this point.
Mhm.
I even make fun of it. At the it's just part of my review. I'm like, there were comments on it like, dude, at least you made it through this review without destroying. So that's how it was for a while. They're like, you made it through this review without destroying anything. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I have. So that's one thing that people that are wanting to do a YouTube channel that has to do with this is you're going to go through some equipment in the process of either making your videos better or just if you crash a bike, you're probably going to trash out some equipment. I mean, just it is what it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's see. How are we doing? Currently, we have Jeff is blowing up. Jeff has done like 30 comments here. Hang on a second, Jeff. Let's see
Yeah.
what we got going on.
Jeff,
Uh,
you're the man, man. Thank you. Thank you for the comments.
um, oh, he's thanking us both for our time and knowledge. So he uses AI for new ideas. You know, I don't need AI for the ideas because I've got a standardized way of testing everything. Right. I mean, I do, and I also have a list of things that I want to do that would be in between e-bikes coming in. I mean, I've started to get like real selective now on what I'm going to review just because of the amount of time that it takes and the fact that I want to do some other videos with certain bikes.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Um Terry T on e-bikes, I've lost more earbuds doing reviews because I forgot I had one in my ear. Yeah, and you take your helmet off and it just launches.
Flies out.
Yeah. Which when I'm doing my reviews, I always have an earbud in my ear. Um, because that way, like if I get a text that comes in, because we'll have like something going on with the dog, or if my wife texts me, then I want to be able to hear it. I don't have any music. Well, sometimes I have music going, but on the
Mm,
3 state reviews, I'll have music going, and I'm able to talk over it like it's not even there. Um,
nice.
but I don't do both because I like to be able to hear everything.
They say you should only have one, just for situational awareness.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. Um, Joey's e-bikes and adventures. It's 63 in Massachusetts. What's the temp where you are? Oh, that is a good question. Right now it is
Someone told
30.
you, someone in the comments said you're getting snow soon.
Yeah. Well, it's 38 degrees here and there's a winter storm. Yeah, Chicago's supposed to get poundable snow
Yeah,
tomorrow and here. So if
yeah,
I'm gonna get trapped somewhere, being trapped at the cabin is not a bad gig, right?
no,
So, you know,
nice.
I'm like, I will take it. So yeah, 38 degrees here. What's the temp where you're at?
This morning at 8 a.m. it was about 45, so I'm guessing it's probably going to warm up to 50 something, maybe in the 50s. I'm thinking. So
Hmm.
not too bad. I ride. I know you ride in negative 20-degree weather. And again, huge props to you, hardest working e-bike reviewer. For me, the minimum I can ride in is probably mid 30s, and it has to be sunny. And I have lots of heated stuff. So I have thin gloves underneath big heated gloves, heated socks, and just a ton of layers for everything. And that's about as cold as I can go.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is even in the wintertime, I'll still use a bike to run most of my errands. So there's a lot of times that
Wow, that's incredible.
I mean, as long if there's look if there's ice, I'm not doing it, right? Because I'm
Yeah.
just
Oh
gonna
yeah.
I'm just gonna break one of my childbearing hips, and I don't want to do that, right? Because then it puts me out of commission. But if it's just snow or if it's just cold, yeah, I'll layer up. And really, the only thing I have is the heated gloves. I haven't
Mm.
tried. Do you say heated socks?
Heated socks, or you need boots that are insulated. And I think a lot of it has to do with how fast you're going. So the
Mhm.
faster you go, the more the wind will just take all the heat from you. So
Oh
if you're
yeah.
reviewing a faster bike, you'll be freezing versus if you're going slower, it's different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also the difference between if you're pedaling because you're keeping your body active as opposed to just
Yeah. True.
throttling. That's a
True.
that's a huge difference between the
Yeah.
two.
What's
Have,
pedaling? What's that?
yeah, yeah. Well, it's this weird thing you do with your legs. It's like walking, but it's just on these
Oh, that's
pedal things.
exhausting.
Yeah. Um, so, Fayez Mohammed looks like you both are going through a midlife crisis situation.
I'm going for that look. I'm trying to go for that look. Glad that's coming through on camera.
Right. Hopefully, if I'm 56, so if this is just my midlife, I will accept that. Right.
Yeah, I think we're doing okay for a
Yeah.
crisis. Yeah, I think we're
Yeah.
doing all right.
There could be worse things.
Mhm.
Jeff has a heated vest underneath. Yeah, normally I layer up. I'm used to. I know how to deal with like the cold weather. I mean, that's also why one of the helmets that I have is a snowmobile helmet, and I had
Oh
it
yeah.
to where so like all of the insulation stuff is up here, which allows me
Mhm.
to still talk and mic it up so you can hear
Mhm.
during the reviews because it didn't that way it doesn't sound muffled. When I was trying to figure that out, dude, one time, and you've done it too. I remember a video where you did where we put the microphones inside our helmets,
It's
and then
just
it just it
blown out. Yeah, the audio is
just
terrible.
every breath you took, and like
Yeah.
heaven forbid you get like a little winded, you sound like people are like, "Are you okay? Like, are
Mhm.
you dying over here? Like, get in shape,
Mhm.
bro." And I'm like, "You don't get it. It's freaking cold, you
Yeah.
know." And the mic's inside the helmet, so yeah, I probably can't do that anymore. Um, Pabst. Oh gosh, the name of this account is Pabst Smear. That's the name.
Champion.
I hope I can get 30 miles out of my Discover 2. Already paid 4,500 for that and the Breeze One for a while. Look, I still have my Discover 2. It's been over a year since that bike's been out, and I still think it is one of the best, if not the best, commuter e-bike that is out there for the money.
Mhm.
Right? Like a matter of fact, I'm going to do a video on it just because um, I think just because that's my opinions on it. So I'm going to. Plus, I think I'll probably be smart and do it around Black Friday. So then that way, if somebody's interested in it, they'll do it. But that's not the reason that I'm doing it. I'm just doing it because I think I've owned that bike longer than I have any of my other e-bikes.
Mm.
And that for me, that's saying something because I think I've reviewed probably over 150 bikes at this point.
Damn.
So
That's a staple, and that's a keeper for sure.
yeah, like I'm not I'm not getting rid of that bike.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do now. Do I ride it a lot? Like I have like the two smaller. I have the two pannier bags on it because I don't always want to. If I'm doing a small errand and it's bigger than what I want to put in a backpack, then I'll take that bike and use the two panniers on the side for like some
Mm.
smaller grocery shopping that I don't need the big one with. Um,
Mhm.
Event needs to make sales on their batteries. That's what Jeff says for Black Friday specials. They probably will. Um, the thing about being an e-bike reviewer, and I'm sure it's the same way with you too, Alex, is that we know the sales that are coming up
Mm.
if they share that with us. And that's why you see like some reviewers, which is smart, like they'll do a short on whatever sales going on. I know you do a lot with posts on sales.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll throw a post up usually if something's on sale.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which how are they going to know if we don't do that realistically? But you're better at doing that than I am. Like I am 100% long form video stuff. So
Mm.
which my coach, my YouTube coach is like, "Hey, you need to do more posts. You need to do more shorts." Mike Hyde from Electric Revolution, who has like 168,000 subscribers, he's like, "Dude,
Mhm.
do more shorts." You know, once again, another way that we're in a group of e-bike reviewers that want to help each other. We want each other to succeed, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, for sure.
But your shorts are funny though. You get stuff. You.
Listen, the shorts, I just have fun ideas, and my last one just blew up yesterday. It's nothing crazy. It just blew up out of nowhere, and it was just a small idea I had that was inspired by a meme that I saw from another e-bike, not a creator, but just an e-bike friend I have on Facebook. It was of Dexter from the TV show Dexter
Yeah.
in his boat, just going out into the sea, all happy and whatever. And the caption just says, "Me after I find the guy who stole my e-bike." And I just thought that was funny. I'm like, yeah, let's throw this out there just because it's funny, and I got to laugh at it. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was funny too, because I was like, dang man, why don't I have that? You know, I don't have that here. I mean, I do, but I won't like take the time to make it. Right. So I always find it like when I see yours, because I think you do a lot of funny stuff. When it comes to the shorts. And when I see that, I'm just like, okay, that's clever. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on here because we haven't talked in person in a long time. So I wanted to get you on here just to see if you're real, if you're a real person, you
Uh,
know.
s-
or
Some
AI.
days I don't know if I'm real. With AI these days, you never know, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, so when it came to the question, I got sidetracked. That from Pap Smear when he said, "I hope I can get 30 miles out of my Discover 2." And actually, you can if you just keep it in like a lower pedal assist level and then just pedal it and don't go fast. That's the thing. I mean, I've seen people get 50, 60 miles out of these bikes because e-bike Ronnie, he has the Discover 2 and that dude easily gets 30 miles out of his bike, but he only cruises around at like 11 miles an hour, I think. Um, so and then Pap Smear, I love your reviews by the way. I'm assuming that is for both of us because I don't know. I'm gonna take it for both. There you go.
Probably just for you.
No, 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 it's probably for both. Um, Let me see. Everybody wants a cell on batteries. That's what Pap Smear said. I need a cell on Velotrek batteries. I want range. Everybody wants range. So here's the thing: you can add a second battery to most of these bikes. Matt at Electric All Wheel, he has kits to do it, and even talks about what batteries and links to batteries that you could do to get that extra range to your bike. I have the Rev One by Ride One Up, and I really like that. And we were going to do this event, and I'm like, okay, I want this bike to go farther. And we added another 52 volt, 20 amp hour battery to that bike. So you can add a second battery to most of the bikes out there.
Yeah, you could even just carry a second battery depending on how heavy it is. So if
Yeah.
it's 15 to 20 amp hours, just carry it somewhere.
Yeah, I've done that. Or you like put it in a pannier or
Yeah,
put it in a backpack if you have a strong back. Yeah, I've done
yeah.
it with my event and Adventure One back in the day. I think I went over 53 miles with it with using two batteries. Um, E-Riders just popped on. Morning chat.
What's up, man?
Let's see. Jeff has 80 on his bound SR in eco mode, and SR stands for short rack. So they have the long rack and the short rack in eco, and he's going slow, but no more. Wait a minute. Oh, but he can't. I'm assuming that it won't do 80 miles anymore now that it has 4,300 miles on it.
Yeah, probably some. He's
Yeah,
battery
battery.
battery cell degradation eventually. Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah, yeah. Which I'm still. I mean, the fact that the Abound SR gets that kind of mileage, I don't. Here's the thing that people don't understand. Whenever these companies are talking about the range of this of a bike, they put a 140-pound rider on there. They don't use throttle. They keep it in pedal assist number one. There's no hills, there's no wind, and there's very little stops. That's how they do it. And so it's unrealistic in I feel like in the majority of it. That's why you do distance tests and riding it at a normal speed where you live. That's why I do distance tests, running it through all that kind of crazy crap. Because for Americans, right, it's more real world because we don't have the same like speed limits that they have, that other places
Yeah,
might have and stuff like that. And also, Americans, we weigh heavier. Yet I am a 225. I'm kind of a chunky monkey, right? But
yeah,
you
but you're
know,
pure muscle, so it's okay.
But then the biggest muscle I have is in my stomach. So that's all I'm going to
Fair.
say.
Mine too.
Right. So I think that they're unrealistic when it comes to when it comes to the mileage. But then I see in the groups where people absolutely get that out of it because they're just older and they're just cruising around real slow. You're trying to get stuff done. I'm using it for errands, so I'm you know on a mission to get stuff done. So I can see where when I'm showing, and the same thing with you, whenever we're doing our reviews and we're showing distance tests, it's normally the worst case scenario.
I don't even, dude. I do range tests, but doing them, no one's ever going to be happy with a range test because there's so many different variables that you can test individually. So what I've started doing now is for faster e-bikes, I just do throttle only as fast as possible. And, that's the worst case scenario in the sense of the least amount of range you'd get. So it's only up from there if you want to go slower. And a lot of it is time constrained too, because to do a range test on a bike, let's say you're doing pedal assist 15 miles an hour, that takes hours. It
Oh my
takes
god.
hours of, and it's tedious and it's grueling. It's almost like torture from this perspective of testing it. And so I just don't have the time to do that. But what I will say is you can just kind of factor in the top three things that affect range. Number one is going to be battery capacity and just how many amp hours does the bike have. Number two is probably going to be the weight of the bike itself. So the heavier the bike, the less it's going to obviously go. And number three, most bikes are fat tires. Now I know there's a good amount of rolling resistance with fat tires versus thin tires. Um, and from there, you can just there's the variables are going to be independent to whatever you do. So you can pedal however much you want, however much you weigh. It's gonna change. But at least those three factors, those are consistent. That can't really change. And I think if you estimate the range based on those three things, that's the best you can do.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I agree. I think that my three state reviews are probably about the most for me realistic, right? On how if I've done like I mean some of these bikes I still do I still make them do the hill climb and the sand test and that just kills the battery. You know, it's
Yeah.
going to put a hurting on it. But I like doing the three state reviews because I'm actually going from like a very, I'm going two states over,
Mm.
hopefully.
That's a big ride, dude. That's awesome.
It is, and I was thinking about doing one on Tuesday from here back to Chicago on the Wired Warrior.
Mm.
I don't think the weather's going to let that happen. Plus, that means I would have to go home and get it because I've already got two bikes here. So I don't think it's going to happen. But I do like doing the. I think well, I think I'm the only one who does those, and sometimes I don't know why, dude. I do, and I'm like, what am I doing? I just wanted to see it if it would make it, and then like halfway through, dude, I'm normally bleeding by the time I make it here. So
Yeah.
something's gonna something's
Yeah.
gonna mess me up on the way. But I guess that's half of it. I do like the I don't know what's gonna happen next part of it.
Yeah,
And being
it's an adventure for sure, and I
yeah,
appreciate you doing that. You're I think one of the only people that does consistently long range tests with pedaling because that takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and you could easily be doing something else. So props to you for doing that.
well on the goat, I didn't have to pedal it at all.
Hmm.
So I have my buddy Dan who comes and picks me up. Like he's tracking my location during the time because if I'm like, hey, this bike broke down, I need you to meet me here. He can do it. Plus, he has my car and the bike rack. And when I did the goat, and that bike went 94 miles, which was the farthest I've gone on any bike, or 90. It was either 90 or 94. Either way, it was the farthest I went. And that was throttle only. And so by the
That's
time I
okay.
made it to where I was at, he was like, dude, he's like, you don't look. I was smoked on the Expedition 2.0 because I had that 100 pounds of weight on the back, right? And I
Mm.
pedaled that the entire time. And so when I made it there to the farthest, he was like, dude, you don't even look like you're worn out or anything. And I'm like, bro, I'm not. I've just throttled this thing around like a motorcycle the entire time.
You should have lied and say the battery died, and this is just how easy it is for me.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. Um, let's see. What do we have? I know, what time is it? How long have we been on this thing?
What
Oh my
is
gosh.
1 o'clock? Wait, I got more time. If you want to keep going, I got time. I got another like probably half hour.
Yeah, if the people want it. I mean, if they're gonna keep hanging out and asking questions, which I do see a lot going in here. E-writers, yes, he agrees it does take too long. He only does them when asked for one if the battery is unusually large. Yeah. If the battery's big, then I'm like, I know that it's like, okay, this is gonna take like 50 miles or whatever. But if I don't think it'll do 80 something miles, I'm not going to I'm not going to attempt a three state review with it. I'll just ride it around Chicago until it dies.
Mm.
Mm, let's see, Pap smear. I didn't realize racks were so expensive. Man, the cost caught me off guard for these two things. An extra $500 for two bikes, receiver and the rack. Oh well, yeah, the receiver. If your car didn't have one on there, I mean that's going to be an issue because you have to get a 2 inch or one with a 2 inch receiver on it. And the actually, hang on. my wife just asked me a question. She's like, "Do you need anything from the grocery store?" And actually, we do. Um,
Like a 12 pack of Coronas would be nice. Something like that.
it's totally something that's like not. I'm like, we need rinse aid and dishwashing detergent
Yeah.
because I mean, well, this is an Airbnb that we rent out,
Nice.
so we have to keep it stocked. Um, hey guys, have you heard any update info on the King Goat controller? I've
I
do you have
I
the
have to
King Goat?
confirm this, but I think I have one, and I'm waiting for the controller to really start writing it and filming it because I know a lot of people are waiting for that as well. I want to say I have to confirm with Bryson, but I think a couple weeks. So it's going to be pretty soon. I have to double check, but last I heard, it's like just a few weeks away.
Yeah, I heard that was kind of a. I mean, Tim has one. I believe Tim from Shoot the Chit.
Yep.
And actually, everybody that's had one, they're kind of like, "Oh man, this controller's messed up. Like, why'd they even put this bike out? You know, like it wasn't
Yeah.
ready." And some companies do that, but I'm sure they were going off of the success of their Mini Goat, which I have an opportunity to possibly purchase one next week at a killer discount, right?
Awesome. Awesome.
But to me, it's all going to be about like how I don't like bikes that are really low to the ground because with living in the city, I'm like, our car's going to see me, you know,
Okay.
and so that's why I'm gonna test ride it and just see how it fits on me. The owner
Yeah.
right now is like 5'3", and he's like, this thing is like it's built for me, and I'm like, it might
Oh
not
yeah.
be built for me, but Tim from Shoot the Chit is like 5'2" or 5'3", and he rides that thing and he loves it.
Yeah.
Everybody who's been on the Mini
Six.
Goat,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think he's like 6'3" or something. Yeah, he likes that bike. Yeah.
yeah. Have you ridden the Mini Goat?
Oh yeah, I have a Minigo, and I've ridden his Minigo back when I flew out to California to visit two companies, and Tim lives in California. He drove out from wherever he lives to LA, and it was me, Matt from Tail Happy, and Tim. We took three goats out. I was on
Oh,
his
that's right.
Minigo, and we rode around the entire city a few times, not just with Matt, but with Raw Stunts. He's another more like Emoto YouTube
Yeah.
creator. He's more for the younger crowd, and we went around everywhere on those bikes, and they did amazing.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. I remember watching that video because that was the first time that you got to hang out with Matt from Tell Happy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was
Um,
interesting seeing California, and then meeting Matt was awesome as well.
yeah, apparently him and Tim have become buds because he did another video with just him and Matt.
Yeah,
And then
yeah. Matt, by the way, Matt's super down to earth guy, really nice guy.
Tim did say that he enjoyed hanging out with me more though. Um, for the
All right,
record,
all right, we got that on camera. Okay.
for the record, and he's
Yeah.
not here to defend himself, but he was like, "Wow, Scott, hanging out with you was way better than hanging out with Matt from Tell Happy TV." And now it could be that I stood over him and watched him sleep, and
That
tucked him
probably
in.
brought him great comfort. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie. I probably like that as well. So,
yeah. Well, you'll get that chance because I'd like to have you come up to Chicago and we just ride around. Have you ever been to Chicago?
no, never. No, I'd like to check it
Uh,
out.
yeah, and I would like to show you. Yeah, we'll date mate the crap out of Chicago. You're not going to want to do it in the winter time, I guarantee you.
We'll
But
wait for the summer. Yeah,
yeah.
we'll wait for summertime.
um, let's see. Sam Project said hi. Uh, okay. Oh, on the racks. He was talking to Skyvids. Anyone know hitch carriers that will fit with the wired and magician bikes? Look, the ones that I reviewed from Kravit, um, they you can put any bike on those. All right, as long as it's not a trike. I love those racks. I use them all the time. They hold a lot of weight. The last one I reviewed holds two bikes at 150 pounds apiece, or one at 200 pounds.
Mm,
So, and they have ramps that take on there, but they're not that expensive. They're all under $500. Now, the
yeah.
one I use the most is the single one, the one where it just carries one bike, the Kravit E1 or whatever, and they just came out. The only thing with that single rack though, it doesn't tilt up, right? And
Okay.
back then when I reviewed it, they just came out with it. It didn't come with the ramp, and then they updated it and it came with the ramp. Well, now they came out with a 2025 version, and it does fold up. That just came to my
Hmm.
house like right before we came down here. So the Cravit ramps are the only ones that I use unless I'm taking two Rambluses to the mountain bike, and then I use this $800 Yakima rack that I didn't have to buy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, but the Cravit racks, those are like my go-tos. Those are the ones that I trust more than anything. I haven't had a single issue with any of those, and you can connect it. It'll work with any bike. First I had a Hollywood rack, and then if you had a step through, you had to put like that bar going
Oh yeah.
across, and so you
Yeah.
could lose that bar, right?
Yeah.
Like I couldn't find. I'm like, what do I do with this dang thing? And with the other racks, you can hook them basically anywhere. I mean, I think with the aerial rider, I wrap it around the shock that's on one side, just
Yeah.
because there's no real place to do it. Oh no, that was with my goat, the full frame battery one,
Hmm.
right? I
That's a
hooked it
tough
to
one. Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
tough
I
one
just
to
hooked
find
it to
there.
the shock in the spring, and it traveled no problem.
What else?
Um,
Just a side note for people that are carrying heavy bikes, especially if you keep the batteries on them and you have two. The rack itself is going to have a lot of weight. I'm sure you probably had to remove it and put it on a bunch of times like that. I think that I have a Cyber Rack E2, and that's 70 something pounds. So I'm
yeah,
sure that
73.
they're at least 100. Plus, you have, let's say, 150 pounds on the rack itself. So that's now 400 pounds. Definitely, side note, check your car's hitch tongue weight limit, because what you'll find is that the back of your car is just going to squat down, and you'll piss off at night. You'll piss off everyone that's driving towards you with your headlights. And I used to have a really small hatchback, and I put way too much weight in the back, and I even felt the steering was a little sketchy, just because it's just by the way, just double check what your car can do.
Yeah, yeah. I have my Rav4 hybrid that I love, and then I had the factory hitch installed, so I know it can handle up to
That's pretty
1,500.
fun.
And it takes over 1,000 for that thing to even start to, you know,
Squat down in the
squat.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
squat down in the back. So moving these bikes is pretty good, pretty easy. I heard Ed Chave. He heard that Tim is planning to move to California. Yeah, that's what I heard too. Talked to him. He wants to do that. Um, Pap smear has the Kravik. So here's the thing: after this is live, or after the live is over, like people won't be able to see the comments that come up, right? So they're gonna just hear me saying, Pap smear. Hopefully, I don't get like flagged through by just saying this guy's.
You're banned, Scott.
Yeah, they're like shadow ban. You're done. You're done. Um, e-riders. There are some, but I wish most racks came with internal locking.
Internal locking for the bikes or for the rack itself to be locked onto the car?
Because well, it would have to be for the bikes because the
Yeah.
Cravit bikes now come with the through lock with the lock on the end of it.
Yeah.
And I found that using a cable is more it's normally so I have the Yakima rack, and it has the built-in things, and the cables aren't that big, like it's
Hmm.
pretty thin, right? But if I use like an external bike chain with a bike cable with a thing, it's thicker,
Yeah.
so even when I have my mountain bikes hooked on to the more expensive rack that has that built in, I'm constantly looking at them like because I feel like it's gonna be so easy to cut, because they're so
Yeah.
small.
The
Um,
bike locks, it's there's nothing that's theft proof. It's just a deterrent. Like, how annoying can you make it to steal something? And
mhm.
you just want to make it as annoying as possible. Put all kinds of alarms and chains, and that's about the best you can do.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand the whole internal locking, or if at least if it doesn't come with that, then I feel like they need to put like a loop or something to make it easier to
Yeah,
run a chain
that's a good
through.
idea.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
the
that's a great
or
idea.
or various places on the rack where you could hook a lock maybe into the wheels or something like that. Kravet doesn't do that. I don't know of any. One or two, I think Yakima does do it, where you could have put the additional thing on there. It just has like a spot for it. I think it would be smart. I think it would make sense. It does make sense, and I think people
Yeah,
would like
for
it.
sure.
Yeah.
100%.
What we got going? All right, I'm going to give you another chance to ask me a question, Alex.
All right, let's see. What do I got? I might go off script. Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Where do you see the current e-bike industry missing the mark right now? So what do you think they're like really neglecting that they should be paying attention to? What's one thing that you wish manufacturers would stop doing or start doing maybe? They're missing the mark in some way.
Oh man, oh, no, I already regret saying that you can ask me a question. That's I don't know why. You see, time went by, and I forgot the questions that you asked. Um,
Because we have different perspectives. I do faster stuff. You do more utilitarian stuff under class or class three and under. So we probably each have answers for
right,
that.
and like I'm city, you're more urban, right? So
Yeah.
I think a lot of companies kind of miss out on the security features.
Okay.
Right. Right. And they all do it a different way. Like, so here's what I like about Goat, right? You have to have a key,
Yeah.
right, to start it up. And then you have that bolt thing in the back that you can run through the rear, even though the rear hub doesn't lock, but you can lock it with that bolt in the back. Isn't that
Hmm.
huh? Doesn't that mean something like that to this means something, I don't know, to the young ones. I don't know. Like
Straight over
I'm
my head.
shy or something. I don't know. But to me, I'm like, look, it's a freaking bolt that goes in the back that locks the tire, and then Aventon's like really good at doing that as well with all the security features. So I think that, I mean, there's only a couple of real companies that will take the time, I feel, or the effort to do additional security. Now a lot of them will do like a password, which is also fair, right, that it'll stop it. But I think security is a big one that they miss. I think battery range, when companies do these smaller batteries, and I know they're doing it for cost and they're doing it for weight,
Mhm.
but people who ride these e-bikes is because they want to go out and explore. And I think a lot of companies kind of miss the mark. I know Velotric did for sure with their Nomads. They
Mhm.
put like these 15 amp batteries in them, and the bikes are like 80 pounds, right?
Yeah.
And that's like
Yeah.
the biggest complaint that people have. They're like, these bikes don't go far enough. And they're right, they don't. So between the security and not having a proper battery size for the size of the bike, I think is where companies miss out.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Totally. I'd like to see, we're going to backtrack way back to the first question you had, where someone was talking about the Bike Tricks bike that had the mid-drive motor with the
Mhm.
single chain on one side. And I know Benell is coming out with a higher powered mid-drive bike. I'd like to see more stuff like that, and I think it will be more popular because when people see a Suron, in my opinion, a Suron is one of the best setups, or a Suron type, one of the best setups you can have for something that you just want to use even on a day-to-day basis. It's got good power, good torque, good top speed, good battery. Unfortunately, they're pretty much illegal. They're getting impounded. And so I think the more e-bike companies are going to make high-powered mid-drive bikes that look like bicycles, that's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Because people really want to see. People already like the Benell. It's expensive though, and so as the cost of that gets lower, that's gonna be pretty interesting.
I just received a Mach Wheel Onyx, and
Okay.
it has a mid drive on it that has like 210 newton meters of torque
Mm.
and an actual aggressive throttle, which most mid drive bikes that I've reviewed, like the throttle is just kind of like there, like
Okay.
it's okay for the takeoff and stuff. So you're talking about like powerful mid drive motors. I feel like you got a good point. Um, you have more bikes that are stronger, that are faster, that still look like bikes will keep you under the radar. That's why Wired doesn't want to put turn signals on their bikes. They don't want to put a big headlight because
Mm.
they want to just stay under the radar as long as they possibly can. You
That
know,
makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
Actually, there's some interesting technology coming out from Bafang. I think it's from Bafang, where they have one of the nice things about a hub motor is how simple it is. You don't have to think about shifting, which gear you're on. You just go. I think Bafang is making a motor where it has two speeds in the actual hub motor, and it changes its speed based on centrifugal force and how fast you're going. So, for example, the faster the motor spins, it'll automatically shift some weights to the outside and get you in a higher gear so you can go faster with less power. And then when it slows down, it'll shift into a lower gear so you'll have more torque. And I think it does it automatically. That's going to be amazing if they can make it reliable and able to take on a lot of power and have a good price. That's going to be a huge game changer.
Yeah, that sounds like it. I mean, even the closest thing that I've done that I've reviewed to that is the Adventure M that I have here at the cabin, because it auto shifts,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it'll auto shift with the throttle as well, which was like,
nice.
oh, which is super nice. And then it also has auto pedal assist.
Mm,
So I mean, the bike's fully auto. You just get on it and start pedaling, and it'll figure it out. And luckily, you can
yeah.
turn those settings off as well, because I find myself wanting to ride it in sport and didn't let it auto shift, as opposed to using the the auto pedal assist levels. But yeah, hearing that Bafang's coming out with that, or at least you think, or that is coming out, no matter
I've
who
heard
brings
some
it.
motor that's coming out. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
going to be awesome.
I mean, Bafang has been coming out. I mean, they've been in the game a long time. I mean, they're trusted, they're true. Um, I think they exaggerated on their newton meters of torque on the Magician, and that might be the same
Is
way.
that Magician that's exaggerating it, or Bafang? Is it the motor? Is it Bafang that has that spec, or Magician?
Oh, I
I'm
don't
not
know.
sure.
I mean, it is a motor that's on or that the Bafang motor is on the Magician, and they say it has 200 newton meters of torque, and I know it doesn't, just
Yeah.
by testing it. So who would it be? Would it be Magician saying that, or would it be Bafang?
Well, what I don't know, like if there's a because I know that motor. Sometimes you go to Bafang's website, they'll have certain motors listed, but certain ones aren't. I don't think that one is. And if it says that number on Bafang's website, then it would be them making that claim. But if it's on Magician's website, one would assume it's probably Magician making that claim. So I'm not sure. So you never
Oh,
know.
yeah. Looks like Matt from Electric All Wheels here.
What's going on, Matt?
He says the industry needs to standardize specifications. The willingness to round up is getting absurd. I agree.
Yeah.
Um, we prefer less phone integration that can cripple the bike. Well, we said we were talking about that earlier. You are correct. And then he said he did test the Bafang automatic on the Cumberland Moab. It's amazing. He had it on a carbon belt drive. I like the carbon belt drives.
Hmm.
The first time I
Now,
got
Matt,
to
Matt, is that the motor that I mentioned that's automatically shifting in the hub itself, or is it something else? Because I don't know. I don't even know if that's out yet or not. Um,
have you tested? Oh, you tested the electric one, didn't
yep,
you?
yep,
Okay, so
yep. And I did the
and that had
carbon
the
belt drive. Yeah.
yeah, and that pinion system, and that was
Hmm.
shifting. I liked how that shifted as well. I thought that was a very nice motor.
It's
Um,
a nice setup. They have a really nice setup on that bike.
hmm I would like to see them add that to like a more full size bike, though.
That'd be interesting. I wonder why they didn't go that route. I'm guessing it's just because they seem to be just overall making smaller bikes with the XPs versus the X Peak.
hmm
But you never know. I'm curious what they'll also do with Juiced because they own the Juiced brand name now, and so
Yeah,
we'll see how far they take that. So I know I'm kind of getting sidetracked, but they
not
have to
really.
stay within the legal realms more so than anyone else because they have so much more to lose.
hmm
Oh,
What
there
happened?
we
You
go.
were there. You popped off for a second
Yeah,
there.
something happened to my phone.
Oh,
But I feel like probably Electric has to cross their T's and dot their I's more from the legal side of things than other e-bike companies. So we'll see how far they push the Juice brand. But anyway, and rant and
um,
sidetrack.
Matt did say, yeah, that was the motor he was talking about, or that you were
Okay,
talking
cool.
about earlier.
Nice.
Um, Here's a question from Ed Chevet. Is a belt just as sturdy as a chain for hard pedaling? Well, I mean, there's less stretch in the carbon belt drives, and normally you can't just throw a belt drive onto a normal freewheel. Like it just, and
Yeah.
I think because of the way that it's designed, it keeps the like the belt doesn't stretch.
I think from if you're interested in getting the most efficiency out of your legs, you have to have a chain with gears
Yeah,
because then you can gauge it based on your terrain. The belt drive is just kind of a I don't know if I don't know. I like how it looks. I like the idea. I don't know if the cost is there. So, for example, would I sacrifice the belt drive for a chain, but then I get some extra battery range for the same cost? I'd much rather have extra battery. That's just my opinion.
yeah, I know it's valid.
Yeah.
I think most people would rather, have extra battery because I mean, really, that's the battery and the motor is going to be the most expensive things on these bikes,
Yep.
and you know, the motor's only going to get you so far, but it's all going to depend. A lot of it's going to depend on the battery,
Mhm.
on how far you can go. Um, I think that's it, man. I mean, we've been on here for yikes a long
Quite,
time,
quite a while.
almost 2 hours. There's 4 minutes, guys. You have 4 minutes to ask what um e-riders. Bye, Scott. Stay warm out here in Chicago. Thanks. It's not the season for staying warm, but I'll do the best that I can. Um, Jeff, thanks for our time and knowledge.
Scott, here's a
100%.
question. Here's a question that we could talk about. If you were not doing e-bike content creation, what else would you be doing?
So I thought my channel was going to be travel and comedy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I actually have like travel and comedy videos on my thing, but you have to go way back to find them.
Mhm.
So, but that's what I would be doing probably.
Mm.
I mean, I was a website designer in my retirement years or before I started doing YouTube and decided I wanted to do that full time. So I'd either be probably website design still and doing videos of comedy and travel.
Mm. Yeah, the YouTube thing, I don't even think I would be doing YouTube. I was before this, I was kind of set on working my way up in the sales realm, just selling expensive things to rich people, and just doing that and using my free time to just do hikes, backpacking, which I know you do. But yeah, the e-bike thing, it just kind of fell in my lap, so I just rolled with it.
Yeah, I like being creative and making videos. So I was already in that realm. I mean, I've been making videos since like 2004,
Oh,
um,
that's a long time. Damn.
or maybe 2003
Wow.
with the military. So, yeah, my wife's like, wrap it up. We got 2 minutes. Oh, she's making drinks.
Sorry.
Oh, right.
Sorry, we're almost done.
Oh, wait a minute. One more. So, a question was, which is a good one from Jeff. What bike brand are you most excited about this year coming up? I'm gonna
Yeah,
say
yeah, you go first.
I'm gonna say Magician is doing some really cool things, so I'm excited about what they got coming out. Aventon, I don't even think I can say how many bikes those guys have coming out because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to. But I spent an
Mm.
hour and a half on a video chat with Aventon talking about all the stuff that's coming out. So
Mm.
I'm a huge Aventon fan, so I like that. I know Velatrix coming out with some cool stuff. Oh, I pronounced Ed Chevet's name correctly. Not sure if I could do that twice though. So,
Nice.
but
Good job,
that's.
Scott.
Is there anyone? Who are you in, or who are you excited about?
The guy, anyone that's doing 72 volt things, I'm a fan of. So Goat, obviously, once they get their King Goat programmed correctly, I think that's going to be awesome. And then, of course, Escape, and Magician. Anyone that's in the 72 volt realm, I think is going to do well next year.
Yep. All right. Look, Alex, thank you for your time, buddy. Right, and thank you
Scott,
guys
thank
for
you for
staying
having me,
on
man.
here.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys, for hopping on here, and hopefully I get to see you soon, buddy.
next year in the summer, we'll make it happen.
Absolutely. I got a
I'll
guest room
get my
for you.
pajamas ready for when you read me a bedtime story.
It could happen.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thanks everyone, and
All right,
we're
take
gonna
care,
hop
guys.
off here.
Thank you.
All righty. Bye bye.
See you guys.